Can you hear me? Oh, I see we have people waiting. Aunt Sandy Skinks is here. Great to see you back. Invertebrate Person, Chesapeake Reptiles, 503 Menagerie is here. Scrolling down to see who else might be here. Frank the Tank is here. Cool. So several people are already here. Some of our, how can I say, the backbone of our live streams are here. Yotaro too, another one of the backbone contributors. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. Let's find out if you can. We should find that out. So before we go any further, can you hear me? Because Yotaro was asking about Tuesday. Why are we having live stream on Tuesday? Okay, Chesapeake Reptile says yes. Okay, yes, all right. Yeah, my behavior changes before and during a shed too. Daft Boy, yep, 503, okay. People are chiming in, they can hear me. Great. Oh, Verge Reptiles is here too. Awesome. So today is a froggy stream. You can see that's my male frog right there, the one on my t-shirt. That's him. That's the very frog who was the inspiration and the model for the t-shirt. I see that Mirva is here, and Entiropos, not sure how to say that, but here you are, so welcome. Have you been here before? I'm not sure if I remember that name. If I do, if you have been, I apologize. So, all right, so yeah, Tuesdays, I'm gonna try Tuesdays now. Logistically, things are different now with the new semester and everything. And Wednesdays weren't really working out all that great, and figured we'd go ahead and try Tuesdays, which we've done before, and just keep going with that. I think that's gonna be better. Woo, falling froggy. There he goes. So I'm gonna show you what the vivarium's looking like. I'm gonna try to zoom out just a little bit. Some of that's a manual zoom, as you might see. Probably changed from the last time you saw it. And it actually, you can't see the crud on the glass that much in this shot, which is fun. We're gonna do some close-up stuff too. But yeah, so if this is your first time, Antiropos, I'm not sure how to say that. You can correct me if you want to. Yeah, right, 503, always something to build. I would, oh, okay, came to this channel from Clint's Reptiles the other day. That was such a fun video to do with Clint. I mean, it's always fun to do a video with Clint. Let's be real, but that was super fun. I hope you, I guess you enjoyed it because you're here, so I think that's wonderful. Oh, there's Tima. Welcome, Tima. Good to see you back. Yotaro, where did you get your American toad? Oh, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I'm in the market for a toad or two, and this is the sad news, super sad news about toads. I had a purchase of some captive bred toads lined up and sent my money to purchase the toads because I didn't want to get them when it was as hot as it was. It was like in August or July or something, and I was going to get them when it cooled off a little bit. So I sent the money. The person said I received it and said, if you have any other questions, let me know and whatever. And so I said, great, been great to work with, because they had been, we had been communicating for a while. And then the person just kind of fell off the face of the earth, and I lost my money and didn't get my toads. So that is so sad. And I am hoping to get some, and you can find wild-caught toads, which I'd really rather not do, of course. I'd rather get some captive bred toads, but they're hard to get these days. They're hard to find. So it was sad that the ones that I did find turned out to be essentially either a scam or a big mistake of some kind. And I'm sad about it. So anybody has leads on getting good captive bred toads, I would love to hear it. And thank you, Tima. This is I'm enjoying this tank, even though I have to figure out the glass. It's a little bit icky, but other than that, I'm pretty happy the way it's going. Oh yeah, the frog-shaped leaves are Ficus quercifolia. It's Ficus Querciafolia. Oh, Oh, Anthracite Exotics is here again. Fantastic. Oh, okay, Yotaro. It was a rescue. Rescuing a dehydrated baby. Toad. I get it. That makes sense. Oh, Tima, you get to go. Oh, that's right. You're going down to Clint's. I so wish I were going, but at the same time, I have another event that has to take precedence because my family and I reserved it some time ago, well before I knew that Clint was even doing anything. So that's how that works. If I weren't going to that event, I would definitely be at Clint's. I was so sad when they asked and said, when Clint asked and Leash asked, I think they both asked at separate times and said, are you going to be coming? And I said, I'm so sorry, I can't. I totally wish they were on different days. Oh, that's a good idea, 503. If you ask Kat, she'd probably help me with that. And Micro Wilderness is a good idea too. Good lead. And yes, 503, we got to hang out back in August. I guess it's been actually over a month because wasn't it like August 17th or something when we got to hang out? That was so fun. Clint's Reptiles with 503. It was a good day. Got to meet many members of 503's family too. It was awesome. We had a lot of fun down there. There's Droth. There's Sean Meister. I guess I can't type Ficus quercifolia, but 503 did. There we go. So we're talking about all kind of things, Wayne Abides. All kind of thing. So the lizards that are in here are geckos. Let's see if we can get a close-up on the little gecko. I was going to trim some plants, but we'll take a minute from the long view, and we'll zoom in on the little gecko on the glass here. That is a relatively neonatal morning gecko on the glass. I've got 2 adults in here and a number of babies. Here's a baby right here, another one. That one's lost its tail, unfortunately. I need to get in there and fish out some babies, but most of them have been doing okay, not losing their tails with the adults. So, oh, I see that Daft Boy and Corridor are here. But yeah, these little geckos, we're going to be feeding them, the little geckos and the frogs in a little while. And everybody gets to see that. That's fun. That's what I like to do on these streams. For those of you who are here for the first time, when we do a frog stream, I'm trying to do a frog stream once a month because it helps me keep up with the plant clippings and stuff. So, yeah, that's what we're going to try to do once a month. And it's about that time. It's about the middle of the month stream-ish. It's a little later than that, I guess, but close enough. So I'm going to move this lamp because it's in the way for clipping. Can't really clip the plants if I have that lamp in the way. I've got 2 lamps on this thing. So I can do a ramp up and ramp down of the light in the morning and in the evening. That's what I'm doing. So I think we're going to try to focus over here just a little bit. I've been trying to clip back the ferns because I've got these rabbit's foot ferns. There's a frond coming out, and I'm trying to get them to localize over here and then over on the other side. There's another frond of it right there. Localize over here, and you can see a tiny little frond coming out right there, which is great. That's where I want it. But I'm kind of clipping back some other ones that I'm finding. So let's see. Let's see what I can find. I bet you could find it, Minerva. I don't think it's going to be too hard to find where you are, I'm hoping. So I'm just looking for stray ferns here. I'm gonna take a look. This is my Neoregelia gremlin, which is doing great. This one is, I think, Neoregelia cheers, probably. I'm not sure yet, but it's been growing. This one has been putting out new leaves because it was starting to rot. You can see some of the older leaves aren't looking so great. But the newer leaves are coming in healthy, so I'm excited. And it's sending out rootlets. So it shouldn't be too long before it sends out a pup. I've got a whole ton of live sphagnum moss growing to town over here. Local hobbyist gave me some of it. I don't know, it must have been a couple years ago, and it just sort of was doing okay in here with the plants were all overgrown, and then I pulled, trimmed it way back, and it started going like crazy, which is fun. So Mirva, a crested gecko enclosure can be damp enough for that stuff if you get it well acclimated. I've had it growing in Vivaria of different levels. It doesn't mind a good bunch of airflow. So you might be able to get it going as long as you establish it well first. Okay, I think this might be like a dwarf chainsaw. Exactly what this is, but it showed up, which is kind of fun. We'll see what that does, but it's been growing. I'm not really sure what that is. And then this is fun too. And I've clipped this back already, and I moved some to a different spot in the vivarium. I'm not sure what it is, but I really like it. It has these tiny leaves, and it looks like leaves are gonna stay tiny from what I can tell. So I don't know what it is. It looks like kind of a baby's tears looking thing, but I don't think it's Hexline soldieri. It looks very different from that. So we'll see what it is. But as you can see, it's growing among the Christmas moss and looks really cool. Oh, there's a little frond of what appears to be sphagnum moss growing among the Christmas moss. I think I've got 3 kinds of moss growing in here. Got this big patch of sphagnum moss that's alive. And then I've got the Christmas moss, which is growing in several spots. There's a big patch of Christmas moss here. Big patch of it right here. Another patch of it over here. There's lots of it growing around. And then there's some Java moss. And I think that right there is Java moss. I noticed some of the Java moss is starting to grow on the cocoa hut right there. This is a fake cocoa hut, not a real one, but it's growing some Java moss on it, which is cool. And then this is Java fern back here. It's really growing, doing pretty well, so that's fun. And I've noticed that this redbird, Neoregelia redbird, is setting up a pup in the back. I don't know if I can show you that. No, I don't think I can quite get to where it is and show you that, but it's cool. See, Alan's here, Alan John, fantastic. I know Alan is a plant enthusiast in many ways. He does a lot with native plants. I follow him on Instagram, and he does some very cool stuff. Of course, he's not limited to that. He does a lot of invertebrate stuff too, but since we're looking at plants a little bit, I figured I'd bring that up, that Alan does a lot of plant stuff too. So maybe one day I'll realize I have a terrarium for plants and a crusty just happens to live there. Well, it's certainly fun to play with the plants as well. Oh, and Laura's here. Philippi, that's how you pronounce your last name, right? Philippi. And hopefully I got it right this time. Yeah, glad to see you here, Alan. Hopefully things have been going well. You know, the Armadillidium nasatum whiteout that I got from you a long time ago are doing well. Maybe they're fully isolated. The stock that I got to TJ seems to be fully isolated from that. I'd been working on it for a while. I think we're there. Last time I looked in my bin, I did not see any wild types at all either. So I think we might have made it. And those millipedes, the Hiltonius species that we weren't sure about, that I was told they were pulchris, but then you were saying maybe they weren't pulchris. Anyway, I noticed some new peedlings in there the other day when I was looking in the vivarium. Not a ton of them, but I did notice some. So, I don't always have success growing moss. I've had decent success growing in aquaria. I used to actually sell moss that I've grown in aquaria, so I grew up pretty well. But in vivariums, I haven't always had good luck, but in this one, I'm having a lot of good luck. So. Yep, someday, Sandy, when I have way more time and way more space than I do now, hopefully that one day comes to fruition. I want one too. I want a skink. I want one of your skinks. And I want some emerald tree skinks. Those are 2 species I'd really like to get. Oh, there's another plant that just sprouted in here when I put this Christmas moss in, so I'm not even sure what it is. And it was growing in the Christmas moss, but it was like not doing great after a while when it got too big, and so I moved it down here, and hopefully it'll do okay. So we'll see. Now I think we're gonna feed the frogs here and the geckos, and I'm gonna take the camera off the stand and we'll just follow the critters around a little bit and watch them eat, because that's fun, right? I think so. Let's try it. Make sure. Ooh, sorry. Did I just switch the camera over? Nope, I didn't. I'm just covering the camera with my finger. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So now we're gonna watch the bugs. Watch them eat the bugs. These are just 2 species of fruit fly that have been dusted here. Oh, okay. Now, sorry to hear that about the millipedes, Alan, but hopefully I can get them out into the hobby eventually. I don't have a ton of the babies this generation, fewer than last time, I think. So this is probably, I'm not sure if this is F2 or F3, to be honest, but if I can get enough babies, maybe I can get them out of the hobby. Maybe they're a little bit more adapted to hobby conditions now, hopefully. Ooh, green-bellied skinks. Have I heard of those? I'm not even sure I had 503. It sounds pretty cool. I've heard of like the pink tongues. I don't think I've heard of the green bellies. Oh, I see what you're saying. ETS, smaller than emerald tree skinks. Cool. Are they basically the same temperament as emerald tree skinks, just smaller? Is that what you're telling me? I'm a little slow on the uptake today, apparently. But I think that's what you're telling me. There's Joseph Tavir. Welcome, Joseph. Oh, Kim, welcome. All the way from the Philippines. Awesome to have you join us. Anoia cyanogaster. That's funny. Green-bellied skinks, but they're called blue-bellied skinks in their Latin name. That's funny. I gotta check that out. Gotta check that out. An earwig stream. I saw the earwig stream on Isobuddies that TJ did, but I don't think we've done one. But if TJ wants to come in and talk about earwigs, I'm up for it. Earwigs are not my favorite insect. I will just be honest right from the get-go. But if people want to talk about it, I'm up for it. So the food corridor, these are dusted Hydei and melanogaster fruit flies. I did some of both. The Hydei are slightly larger and have bigger wings. Well, they have wings, and the Apteris melanogaster. The melanogaster apteris, meaning they don't have wings. Well, 503, you have intrigued me. And yes, Aunt Sandy, as soon as things change, to be honest, I've I'm downsizing lately, and I think that trend is going to continue before anything else happens for a little while, mostly with isopods, for a lot of reasons, but a lot of things are changing around here in terms of dynamics and availability of kids to work for me and stuff, because they're all in college now, and that changes things. And so I'm not going to get rid of my isopods entirely, and that's not going to happen, but I am definitely downsizing and trying to focus more on the species that I have reasons to focus on, whether they're a particular favorite. I'm trying to focus mostly on species I can ship too, of course. But I can't ship Gestroy, but I'm not getting rid of Gestroy. So Mirva, my understanding of the word earwig is that it's a corruption of ear wing, because their wings, which you don't usually see under normal circumstances, are wing-shaped. Ear-shaped. And there are stories about them getting into people's ears, which I don't think happens very often, but ear wing would be more appropriate. They are an insect that looks a little bit like an elongated, just vaguely. I mean, they're not closely related to roaches, but they're long. I don't think they are. Kind of elongated roach-looking body with pinchers on the end, which is really interesting. But not really my favorite insect, but I would be up for talking about it if TJ wants to. And some do have nice color. Alan I agree with you. I've seen some cool ones that TJ has. Exactly. Everybody needs Gestroy. And the consistent yellow covered Gestroy would be amazing. They are. They exist. I've been in contact with the person who selectively bred a line of high yellow Gestroy to the point where they were just lemon yellow Gestroy. I think they're in Sweden, if I'm not wrong. Somewhere in Scandinavia. I'm pretty sure it's Sweden. And they said, I would be happy to send you some, but but they couldn't because, you know, Sweden, sending here from Sweden. And that is a funny thing about Gestroy. You will get times in their population where you just have babies. That's true. I've had that happen a couple times. Or mostly babies, at least. Oh, the St. Helena earwig is the largest earwig known. For those of you who don't know, it's the giant earwig. Lived only on the island of St. Helena, along with Pseudolaureola atlantica, a spiky yellow isopod that I don't think is in the hobby. Probably the rarest isopod because it's endemic to one area within a small island. It's like lives on black cabbage trees in the montane forests of the island of St. Helena, which sounds pretty cool, but that's the only place they live, and that's where the earwigs used to live. So Daft Boy, you should see if you can find some of those all yellow Gestroy then. How cool would that be? Nihilus, welcome. Good to have you back. I haven't seen many of the geckos polishing off flies. Let's see if we can. Here's a gecko. Morning gecko on the glass. I don't see many flies around her. Usually the adult geckos come down to the, oh, there's one. I don't know if you can see it though. It's right behind the frog. There it is. Can you see that? Licking up the last of the supplement off its lips, or whatever geckos have, the analog to lips. And yeah, I think I've seen remains of their pinchers, like photos of their pinchers that they found that were still intact, not fossilized or anything. There weren't any, were no longer any earwigs attached to them. Huge bunch of baby geckos, morning geckos, 503. Oh, that's kind of picturesque right there, don't you think? Sitting right there in the moss and the other plant, whatever that is. Made a little less picturesque by that dying leaf of the Chiquita Linda. That is a nice find. I have a bunch of babies too. I need to see if I know someone who might want some, so I need to talk to him and see. Welcome Aftech and JH. 55-gallon fluval to give away if someone can pick it up in Montreal. Well, I'll be on your doorstep in the morning. Just kidding. I wish. But thank you, Nihilus. I'm happy that I've resolved to do a live stream in this tank every month, because before, it's not that the habitat was problematic for the frogs, it's just it would get overgrown and then it didn't look good. It looked like a bunch of weeds growing in a box, and I would look at it and say, oh, I need to clip that, and I didn't do it. So I'm glad that I've resolved to do this, because I just clipped this the other day in preparation for the live stream, cut things back a little bit, move things around. If I do that every month, I think I'm going to be on track. So, oh, there's Bridget. Yes, welcome. Yeah, my Gestroy, when I got mine, they were very, very, very small. There wasn't a single adult in the group. They were minuscule. Someone local was getting out of the hobby and sold to someone else, and he brought the person who bought them brought them over and said, hey, let's figure this out. Let's do some trades. And so I traded for, 20 or so tiny, tiny, tiny little Jestroy that were just a few molts away from being Monkeye. And they were so tiny you had to use a magnifying glass to see the colors and whatnot. But they were, they're still pretty at that size. They're just so tiny you can barely see it. And so it took forever. I think it was a year and a half before I had any because of that, before I had any babies. Maybe even longer. And Roland, I agree, they are. And it's fun that you can cohabitate with them with morning geckos. I have bred these dart frogs, JH, more than once, but I haven't been plagued with babies. I don't try to encourage babies too much. That's the nice thing. If you take away the things that encourage babies, the frogs are still perfectly healthy. They just don't reproduce. They even sing. But without the little pools, right now I have a couple of pools, and I've been, there's a petri dish under this cocoa hut, and a petri dish under the cocoa hut you probably can't see right now, but it's back there. You can kind of see it. Back there behind that string of frogs plant, and right behind the frog that's in the middle of the screen. Those cocoa huts have petri dishes under now. I've been trying to keep a thin layer of liquid in there to keep them happy and keep them wanting to breed. And they have a place to deposit tadpoles. But they haven't, these are older frogs. I'm not sure how long they go and still, be reproductively active. But the male's certainly singing a lot, and I see them hanging out down in the pot together, and I see them, doing all kinds of fun stuff. I'm clipping this because I think that piece is going to go crazy. I'm just going to put it up here where it'll probably just root and go into the background. Anyway, I've only raised I've seen more than this, and I haven't made it a priority to raise tadpoles. I've just occasionally said, oh, let's raise a few. And so I've done that, and I've raised 4 total in 2 separate occasions, and those, got out into the hobby and whatnot, but I haven't made it a focus at any point besides those 2 occasions where I'm just like, yeah, let's go ahead and do this, to try to produce a lot of tadpoles. If I had, I'm sure I would have produced more. Let's see. So do I have UVB? I don't have UVB on this tank. Yeah, I don't. I don't think the way it's set up right now with the glass, I would get a whole lot of the UVB to go through, so I haven't done it, but seems to be doing well. I've had these frogs for quite a while, and I think there's a lot that UVB can do for us, and it does some amazing things for some species. So I'm not dissing the benefits of UVB. I just haven't done it on this tank. Let's see. So Nihilus had something. Okay. Oh, there it is. Nihilus says, I commented on a Clint's Reptiles post Aquarimax Russ when I saw him reference a video you two did together. He said to me, Aquarimax is the genus, Russ is the species. And I chuckle.
Am I a species in Aquarimax too then?
Yeah, you would be Aquarimax Kelly.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm my own species.
Yeah. Does that mean we participate in interspecies dating? I think it does.
That is what you asked me very early on.
That's true. Yeah.
Have you ever told him that story?
I don't think I have, but when I first met my wife, well before she was my wife, of course, I had a puppet. We were doing a puppet practice because, my friends and I were doing a lot of puppetry at the time. And she was there, and I had the puppet walk over to her. It was a Kermit the Frog puppet. And he said something like, hi-ho, do you believe in interspecies dating? And
Apparently I do.
apparently she does. It kind of worked. So that was fun. What kind of darts do you have, 503? Grylidae per kilocalories. That's a very evocative name. I like that. Do you like make cricket flour or something? That's what that makes me think of for protein supplement. Yeah, UVB. I have used UVB in my morning geckos before. I don't think I currently have any right now, but I have used it. African house snake, Euromastix, a million other things. Yeah, 503. Hear you there. They love the story, by the way.
I think it's a pretty good story.
Nihilus and 503 and Mirva and Mason. Lots of people are saying they like the story in one way or another, so there you go. Yeah, oh, that reminds me. And one of the upcoming streams, I need to cull my duckies and separate the light duckies from the dark duckies so we can get the two different forms. Mason, I gotta ask. That actually worked, huh? Aunt Sandy says hi. Aunt Sandy says hi to you. No, Aunt Sandy from here, from the live stream. Her name is Aunt Sandy Skink. She says hi to you.
Oh, okay. Because my aunt's name is that too. I'm like, why she's hello?
Yeah, that was a little confusing because she does actually have an aunt that sometimes goes by Sandy. So. Oh, okay. Got it, Garlade. Cool. Well, it worked. Can't knock it then. Can't argue with the results. Solarity, hello. Yeah, I don't think you've ever been on the live before, have you? Good to have you here. Welcome. Okay, I'm gonna put some food in here. Different food. I mean, this frog is still mopping up fruit flies over here. But I'm gonna put some gecko food down and see if we can get the geckos to come eat. Got some CGD here. Not very well mixed. We're doing things with one hand, but I don't think they care all that much. It looks appropriately liquefied. So 503, you could hear my wife. That's cool. I wasn't sure if you could from here because she's I'm in the living room, she's in the kitchen. There's not a wall between the two rooms, but she's on the far side of the kitchen and I'm on the mostly far side of the living room. So that's pretty impressive microphone on this camera. If you could hear it, that's pretty cool. Non ti dispiace se dico il tuo nome, vero?
No.
Ok.
Non già il mio nome, no.
Tutti no. Alcuni sì, non tutti. My wife says I can tell you, her name is Kelly. So.
Hello, y'all.
William, hello. What to feed clue guys to make them healthy? I find for armadillidium, they like a decent amount of protein, so I like to give them things like fish food pellets, Supreme Isopod chow, that they really like canned green beans. They're big fans of canned green beans. I've heard they like other beans too. I haven't done as much with other beans, but those are some things that I like to give them. Yeah, everybody could hear you and you were pretty clear. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. I hope I didn't accidentally report somebody. Okay, lots of folks are saying hi to you. Mirva says hi, and JH says hi. Sean Meister says hi. Aunt Sandy says hi. JH says, thanks for sharing Russ with us.
You're welcome.
So, Grillid has been raising sigillatus and bioactive pinheads are growing and some are reaching 3/4 inch of size. I'm seeing a little bit of mold though. Yeah, I've done a lot with sigillatus and bioactives and I like them in bioactives. I think it's so much easier and smells so much better. So hopefully they keep doing well for you. I've raised multiple generations bioactive and I've only need to change the substrate out about every 6 months or so. And I think that's mostly, to be honest, because of the pyralis moths that get in there and clog up the substrate with their larval silk, little dorks. Otherwise, I could probably go longer on the substrate. Let's see, Nihilus. Yes, Nihilus, that was Italian. I guess I spoke Italian to my wife, didn't I? We speak Italian to each other a lot. Oh, yes, Harold, yeah. You recognized it as Italian as well. Cool. Rust Kermit Frogs and the Nematodes, live October 31st, 2024. Oh, that gives me that makes me remember something, okay? My daughter, my child, was asking before the stream, saying, ask your live stream audience if they would like you to do a live stream with Bob Russ. In other words, I put on my Bob Ross costume and I'm on screen as Bob Russ and we do the whole live stream like that. So tell me what you think about that idea. I think it'd be fun, but I won't do it unless I get some support for it. So let's see. Sean says, it's been a very long time since Kelly was in a video. That's true. When was the last time you were in a video? I know you've been in some. Probably, actually, the last time was from August 2023.
What video was it?
Bugs in Cyberspace Skyland Adventures video. I'm sure you were in those.
Yeah. Because we didn't do like a live stream or anything from the expo.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's probably
that was probably the last time you were in one, yeah. Which has been a while.
Yeah.
It's been more than a year, so.
I'm still here.
I'm still here. Sounded very Latin. Yeah, Italian in some ways is the language that is, the major language that is still spoken that is closest to Latin, being a direct descendant of Latin. It depends on who you're talking to and which metrics you're measuring, because in some ways Portuguese is, and in some ways Italian is, and in some days how do you say that in English? Sardinian dialect is? So, there you go. Favorite giant Porcellio species? Good question, Kearns. I really like Porcellio expansus. That might be my favorite. I really like the autumnal equinox variety. But Porcellio hoffmannseggi was one of the first I ever kept. I really like that one too, especially the orange one, which I haven't kept yet. We have a frog eating CGD? Holy cow. They love to dive in it. It's weird. It's like they end up jumping in it far more often than I would imagine them doing by accident. So they appear to like it. So a Hoffmannsegg I really like. Witch's Brew too. So there's probably a three-way tie between those. Is that fair? Yeah, maybe you should get some of the tropical springtails in there, Garliday. That makes sense. I've had good success with the species. What is it called now? It used to be Sinella curviceta, and now it's something like Cecobria tenebricosa. Is that it? Cecobria something. So William, depends on the frog, but some frogs can. They may be less likely to if it's in a ball and not moving. But if it starts moving and it's still conglobated, then that's, yeah. A lot of frogs can do it. Toads, there are toads that eat a lot of isopods and a lot of conglobated isopods, I would imagine. I mean, I'm not for sure what the proportions would be, but there are toads that eat a fair number of isopods. Oh, Harold, your real name is Valerio. Piacere. È un gran piacere vederti qui. Grazie di essere venuto. Yeah, Frank the Tank, those need to be more popular in the hobby, I think. We need to get those moving out into the hobby. True, Ryan would know the deal for the springtails. Okay, we've got Sean Meister and Sandy Skinks. Getting some, 503. Yotaro, yep, okay. Yeah, we were thinking of doing it in the stream right before Halloween, so I think we will do that. So can I paint isopods? I don't know. I've never honestly tried to paint isopods, but I think my creative energies, I mean, yeah, I can draw if I really put my mind to it. It's not like something I've practiced a lot, but I've produced some fairly decent work, but I haven't done much painting, so we'll just, I don't know if I could actually paint one, but I was thinking what I could do is maybe have two cameras in that stream. There you go, swimming in the CGD. And then maybe have another camera that is on some isopods and have a paintbrush, and I'm moving the isopods, like doing some culling or something with the paintbrush, and I can comment on it as if I were Bob Ross. So you can see me the whole time, but you can also see the isopods. What do you think? Okay, Nyla says so too. So several people are approving the Bob Ross costume, so I guess I gotta do it. Yeah, most dart frogs are micro predators, with the exception of like Terribilis is an exception. There may be other exceptions, but that's the one I think of most commonly. Terribilis will eat larger things, but most Dendrobates will not eat things that are about larger than about 1/8 of an inch or so. So, let's see. Oh, we lost Mason. I'm getting behind on the chat, trying to catch up. Oh, Gecko stepping on frog. No frogs were harmed in the making of this live stream, though. Fortunately, Morning Gecko doesn't weigh enough to hurt the star frog. Oh, there's Petzotics. Welcome. Roland, how many species of springtails have I kept? I've cultured Folsomia candida and the Cecobria that used to be Sinella curviceta on purpose. And then several others. I've had some of the meniscus-dwelling aquatic springtails in my aquariums. I've had, let's see, the silvers in some of my Vivaria that just kind of showed up, and a couple more, but none of the others on purpose. The only ones that I've purchased are Sinella, formerly Sinella, now Cecobria, and Folsomia candida. Because I don't really have, the only permits I have to send springtails are for those two species, and I can't send all of those to all states. But I'm concerned about getting another kind and having it overtake. Like if I got Entomobria unistrigata, which I think is a better springtail for a lot of bioactive setups, that it would outcompete my other springtails, and then I couldn't ship anything. Couldn't ship any springtails. So I'm kind of worried about that. You know what I'm saying? And Grilade, interesting you should say that, because lately that's what I've been working on, the Achaeta domesticus bioactive, and so far it's going well. I'm in the, I guess it would be F1 generation right now. So far so good. I produced a few hundred babies, and they seem to be doing okay in the bioactive setup, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, maybe I could do that on Sandy Skinks. That would be really fun. Yeah, this is a great species for those of you who want to take the jump into, or take the leap into dart frogs. This one, Dendrobates leucomelas, also known as the bumblebee dart frog, is one of the best for several reasons. One, they're just a little hardier. Their temperature range is a little wider than some other dart frogs. They tend to be a little bit more communal. A lot of them are best kept in just a single pair. But these can be kept in a trio or in a group if the tank is large enough. I've got a trio in here. That's one of my females right now that I'm looking at. Just memorize their patterns. You can't tell just by looking at it very easily, but this is a female. And yeah, I guess because of those two things. They're also not very expensive, and they're pretty widely available. There are several localities and morphs available, so they're really a good one to go with if you want to get into dart frogs. The only other species I've kept is Auratus. That's another reason to keep these. Auratus are awesome, but they're a little bit shy, and these are quite bold. Oh, so Mirva, Bridget, who was in the stream just a little while ago, may still be here. crocheted me a gestoy, which is awesome. It was in one of the most recent live streams. Got to check that out. Oh, somebody just sent me a super chat. Let's see who that is. Can I get to that? That was Luigi of Destruction. Sent me $6.68 US. It looks like that is awesome. Can I reply this way? I think I can. I can reply directly now. That's the first time I've been able to do that. I didn't know that was even possible. They've changed how that works. Well, thanks, Daft Boy, for joining in. See ya soon. Oh, interesting. So, Grylidae, if you have the hard-working wings, there's more taurine and no dusting supplement, little to no dusting supplement, so the US contain that amino acid. Well, that sounds like something that needs to be addressed, and that would be a way to address it. That makes sense. But we should also get somebody who markets one. That would be important too. But yeah, I really appreciate that, Luigi of Destruction. First super chat of the day. Pet Zotics. I have bred these. This trio has produced for me. It's been a few years. I have not made it a focus to breed them. But lately I've been, encouraging them a little bit. So we'll see if they end up producing anything. They haven't. I've been encouraging them to breed for about 2 months. The male has been calling like crazy, but he is, on the older end. So I would say we'll see. If he produces, I'll be happy to help get that out in the hobby. Get them out in the hobby, and you could be. Oh, we got another super chat from William. Tips on breeding Klugii, please. Bought 10 3 weeks ago. Okay. I think you're going to be fine. I don't find them particularly challenging to breed as long as their care requirements are in control. But I would say make sure that they have plenty of dry area, some nice moist area, and they have to make sure the hides are right up against the moist area and plenty hides in the dry area. They seem to do best when you do that. And don't spray, don't mist if you can avoid it all. Trickle water into the moist area. Don't mist. And that seems to make them happier. Give them decent amount of protein. Make sure they have enough calcium. Either put some Cuttlebone or some calcium carbonate or something in there so they get plenty of that. Make sure they do have decent ventilation. Hopefully the place you have them has decent airflow. And they do tend to breed better in my experience, and I could be wrong, and I've heard others say this too, that they need, that they like it a little warmer to breed. Sorry, the focus is going crazy here with this morning gecko eating the CGD, but it's cool to watch her do it though. So I would say, try to keep it on the warmer side a little bit. You don't want to overdo it, but I have found that they tend to kind of take a spurt of breeding when they're a little warmer, like in the summer or something. If you do need to do supplemental heating, either heat the room and not too hot. If you're like at 78, 80 degrees, you're probably fine. Or heat an area of the room. Don't put a heater under their enclosure, of course, because then when they burrow, they'll hit the heater. Not good. But if you had to, you could put a heat pad on a thermostat. When I say heat pad, I mean like a heat mat, not like a human heat pad, but a heat mat on the side of the enclosure, and just put it at like 80 degrees, and so they have a warm area, and they have a moisture gradient, a heat gradient, and that would probably kind of guarantee it. But honestly, as long as it doesn't get too cold, and you're feeding them well and eating some of those things like the green beans I was talking about, some good supplemental food with protein, make sure they get plenty of calcium, and plenty of leaf litter, of course, they should be breeding. Okay, I'm gonna move over here because that gecko is super hard to focus on, just to be honest. And maybe if I do it from here. A couple of my kids are big Magic the Gathering collectors and players, and we play with them once in a while. I still don't really get how the game goes, but I've learned a few things over time, but not a ton. I still need help to play, and my wife is the same way. We'll play with them, but we don't really get it. But she won last time, I'm pretty sure. So we figured some of it out. Oh yeah, let's get some more likes. We have 43 people and 33 likes. Let's do a like spike, shall we? Let's try it. I do love a like spike. Oh, the likes are starting to go up a little bit. Oh, we only have about 10 minutes. Okay, so William, let me know what you think. Did I answer your question about the clue guy to your satisfaction? Taurine is illegal in the U.S. to add a supplement? That's weird. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I know that 503 plays D&D too. And so I guess Magic the Gathering, it's kind of like a kindred game, so to speak. That frog is sitting there as if, is that a girl or that's a female? If she really wants to eat that CGD. Okay, now I'm gonna move this. See if anybody can ID this plant for me once again. At the beginning I showed this plant. I don't know what it is. And I would love to know what this plant growing among the moss is. Huh, very interesting. Coryllidae, huh. So we can't, can you just buy taurine as an amino acid? William Duran, hello. Any experience with a species of millipede referred to as dwarf worm? The only one with the name worm in it that I'm familiar with, passingly familiar with, I should say, haven't kept it, is the Tanzanian worm millipede, which is a species that reproduces by parthenogenesis. And I haven't heard much about it in the hobby. It was in the hobby a while ago, number of years ago, maybe in the, like around 2000, what are we looking at? Maybe 2012 to 15, somewhere in there. And it may still be in the hobby. I just haven't heard much about it since then. It may still be there. That's the only one that I've heard of with the name worm in the name. May or may not be the same one. Nihilus, thank you for coming, and hope to catch you soon in the next one. Let's see. So taurine is approved for dogs, cats, and chickens. Interesting. Okay. So it could be that we could get it to our pets by using those foods as gut loads or something, perchance. Like I use dog kibble with my isopods rather extensively because they really like it and it helps them grow fast. I give it to my crickets too, as far as that goes. Troy Goldberg. I guess I'll have to ask him because I don't think I'm in contact with him, but now that I have a name, I can check that out. It's such a cool little plant and I would like to get it growing. I don't think I showed you what I did with it. I put a patch of it over here the other day. I just clipped off a patch and stuck it in a bunch of moss so that it would root. And it's not dying, so I think it's probably going to root over here. It seems pretty hardy. Just in this patch of dry sphagnum moss. Well, not dry, but it recently had been dry and I moistened it up and put it in here. Because fantastic looking little plant. I just don't want it to overtake my moss and I wanted to make sure it gets going in the vivarium, but I sort of hope that this patch over here stays mossy because I love the way the moss is coming in, and if this little plant grows as fast as it has been, it might overtake it, so I'm trying to be careful about that. So, well, William, I would love to find out more about those. Have you contacted, let's see, Boogie Down Bugs about it? Boogie Down Bugs seems to be a pretty, be an authority on millipedes in the hobby on Instagram. So it would be great to know that. I'd love to know it. Let's see. Okay, so adult fruit flies and crickets have it. That's at least good because we use those in the hobby. So even roaches don't have taurine? That's interesting. Or is it low in taurine, or taurine, do they have it? Curious about that. Yotaro, thanks for joining. we'll see you soon, hopefully, next time. Okay, so I have to ask. Oh yes, 503, thank you. Mike Taituli, yeah. I'm more familiar with him, but I would be happy to reach out to both of them, see if they know, get a good picture of this stuff, see if they know. I've communicated with Mike a little bit, so maybe he would be happy enough to ask. You know, it kind of looks like a Pilea. It doesn't look, it could be that genus, Aunt Sandy, that makes a lot of sense. Could be. It doesn't look like any species that I'm particularly familiar with. I'm familiar with a few of them, but totally could be. Every time I've tried to grow a Pilea and a Vivarium, no, that's not true. But recently when I've tried to do it, I haven't had a lot of success. Pilea caudieri, the aluminum plant, and I used to grow that really well, even years and years ago. Let's see. Oh yeah, William. Yeah, either send it by email, go to aquarimax.com and go to the contact page, and then send me an email, and then I can reply to you with an email. You can't attach pictures to that first email, but once I reply to you, you can attach pictures to your reply. Or you can just go to Instagram, go to Aquarimax Pets on Instagram, or on Facebook Messenger. I prefer Instagram, easier to use, but I'd love to see some pictures of them. And if you reach out to Boogie Down Bugs, Kevin Nasser, Boogie Down Bugs, or whatever, and he tells you, I'd love to know that too, but I'd at least love to see him. So Mirva, I have never kept the emerald roaches, the Pseudoglomerus magnifica, I believe is the scientific name. I have not kept those. I don't keep roaches in the house for one very good reason, and that is my wife doesn't want them in here. So, but someday when I have a facility, emerald roaches would be a cool one. I love that they're that metallic green. Emerald is a perfect name for them. They're amazing. Oh, wow. So, Archaea domesticus is basically a taurine supplement. Oh, Laura Philippi. So, you're going to go take a class on feline diabetes. Well, cool. All right. Thank you for joining in. Four more minutes, Bob Russ, indeed. Yeah, they are fairly expensive, but apparently, from what TJ and Kyle says, they're doing pretty well now that people are dialing into their husbandry, and they'll probably go down in price at some point. And thank you, Frank the Tank, for the links to my contact page and the links to my Instagram. That should be helpful. So William can send me some photos. I would love to see those. The pronounced head sounds very interesting. I don't think I've seen any millipede that looks like that. Here I am just staring at a plant for the last while. I gotta get something moving. Well, TJ and Kyle do have a knack for that, that's sure. They're some of the most prolific producers of roaches in the U.S. hobby that I'm aware of, anyway. So, but I think they were saying that at first they were having some difficulties, you know, with them, and now they've kind of dialed in, which probably means two things. Probably people are learning more about how they do and how to make them thrive, but also it probably means they're adapting better to captivity. So they'll be easier for everybody, I hope. That is my hope. Slow to get started, but then seem to take off. Cool. Yeah, a lot of things are like that for sure. A lot of roaches seem to benefit from the Ali effect, which is basically that they reproduce better in high population densities than in low population densities. A lot of isopods do that too, to some degree. I mean, you know, there are limits to it, but it seems to be that there are different modes of reproduction, and when they're in higher densities, their mode is produce a lot and often, produce often. And when they're in low population densities, it is wait a long time to produce and then produce a big brood, which is interesting. That's true with some isopods, and I'm much less knowledgeable about roaches, but apparently that's a thing with roaches too. cool. Schonmeister. I got to check that out. What is your Instagram, Sean? I think I want to make sure I catch that. €6 per nymph. That is fairly steep. But maybe you should do it. All right, everyone. I was looking at the clock, seeing what time it is. I'm going to have to head out. But thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you to the super chatters today. Thank you for everybody who participated. It's been great to be back in a live stream. We'll be back here on Tuesday at 5 U.S. Mountain Time. That's the plan. And I'm glad so many of you were able to join, both regulars and newbies and people coming back from a long time. So I think that proves that this is a good time to live stream. And so I think we'll be back here and super excited about it. So have a good one, everybody. See you later.